A stringed instrument, pretty much all of them have, in Western culture, have the same elements. They have a headstock. The headstock holds tuners that allow us to loosen and tighten strings. A nut, which kind of separates the strings in however we want to separate them. The bridge, and a tailpiece or some way to hold the strings. And the most important part of this is this distance. The distance from the bridge to the nut is called a scale. And that's what's different in a lot of instruments. This particular scale, this is a mandolin. It's 13 3/4. My demo today, I'm going to do a tenor guitar that's a 20-inch scale, distance from here to here. And the other thing that's different between instruments is not only the scale, but the number of strings. But pretty much these frets or separations just mathematically expand or contract depending on how long the fretboard is. So an octave is 12 spaces. So here's the other most important thing, the 12th fret. These little 2 dots I have on this one indicate the 12th fret, and the 12th fret is always exactly 1/2 of the entire scale. So if we know the nut, the bridge, and the 12th fret, we can work backwards and figure out how to lay out almost any instrument. We're just going to start with a straight line. And what I do is I make a stick. I know that my instrument has a 20-inch scale, which is here's the bridge, here's the 12th fret, and here's the nut is the top of this. So I know that's what I have. Now the other thing I know is that I'm actually going to make a segmented turning for my body that's going to be right here. So I'm going to start by making what I know. I know I'm going to make a 12-inch segmented piece that's my body. So I'm going to draw that. So I've drawn this center line, and I'm always working from the center line. So there's my 12-inch body. So now all I have to do is move this up and down to figure out where I want things to go. When you're making your first instrument, it's great to make a shorter scale. Like a guitar might be 25-inch scale, and a mandolin is 13, and the ukulele could be 17 or 15. So work with the ukuleles and mandolins in smaller or shorter guitar scales because you don't have to think about putting the truss rods in the neck. To lay it out, I always kind of work backwards. What I really would like is the bridge to fall somewhere in the middle of this plate. That's going to give me resonance. If I get too close to this end, I get a dull thud. I'm not going to get much. But if I can get pretty close to the center or close to the center, I'm going to get a lot more sound. So I'm going to start from that piece of information. Here's the other thing. The 12th fret for my first instrument, I want it to be as close to the edge of the body of this guitar, tenor guitar, as possible. So I can't come, here's the bridge. If I come here, I'm too close to this edge. So I'm just going to come up not quite halfway, but pretty close right here. And that's going to put my 12th fret here. That's going to put my nut right here on this line. So if I draw this line forward, that's going to give me all the information I need to know about my instrument except one thing, and that is the head stock, which holds the tuners. I usually allow about 6 inches. So that's going to go up here, and that's an unknown at this time, but I don't need to know that. I'm just going to allot 6 inches for that. We're going to have to connect the neck to this cylinder that we make, so you have to add a piece of wood in here to kind of stiffen this up, so we can cut in here like this and make a tenon. And that's usually, we can make it an inch or an inch and a quarter or something like that. So there's our tenon. I know just from experience that my tenor guitar is going to have a little less than an inch and a half width of neck. And for your first instrument, don't worry about tapering the neck. Just make it a straight shot. It works great. All right, and I'm just going to kind of square off this spot right there, which is that's my nut right there. All right, so here's the information I need to know. I'm going to need a stick that goes from this point to the top of my 6 extra inches from my headstock. So surprisingly, that turns out to be 20 inches. But just because it's a 20-inch scale doesn't mean that would always be 20 inches. That just is happenstance. All right, so that tells me I need a piece of wood that's an inch and a half wide all the way here, because I can add pieces to widen that neck. And now I'm going to have to figure out my cylinder, how many pieces I'm going to need to make.